Okay, so hello, I am Halcyon, and I am a. This will be my 14th year going to Burning Man, and I don't mean to brag, but I have a ticket. A lot of people don't have tickets. Tickets have been on sale for 6 months, and there's been a number of notices in the Jackrabbit Speaks about the tightness, the limited nature of tickets. They didn't outwardly go out and say they're going to sell out, partially because they did not want to alert scalpers that, grab them up, which is a challenging dilemma. Some people were pissed, like, how come they didn't mention how many were left? I would have got a ticket. Like, well, if they had mentioned how many were left, then scalpers would have bought them all up. It's a tough situation for the Burning Man organization, especially when the Burning Man organization is this beautiful cacophony, and when you try to impose elements of order, it gets challenging. So, if I look on the wall of my Facebook page, and on the Burning Man Facebook page, it's amazing how many people are looking for tickets right now. I'm actually a little surprised. I'm surprised how many people that are longtime burners, that people that I thought would just make this part of their plans, didn't have tickets. Now, there's a few things that I think make this exponentially worse. One is the ticket challenge when it first. I remember on day one, they went through the first two tiers on the first day, which meant that even if you wanted to buy a ticket on day 3, you were buying a pretty expensive ticket. So there was the psychological game where you thought, okay, do I guarantee and buy one now at 3:30 or something, or do I assume that a lot of the people who got 220 tickets are going to decide not to go, so I'll just buy one of those later? Now, in years past, that was a very logical thing, because worst case scenario, you could just buy a ticket for $400 at the gate. I think that was what it was last year. It was expensive, but you could. Now we're in a situation where there is no, whoops, I was unable to get a cheaper ticket, now I have to buy an expensive one. No, there is no more. So the ticket system from day one till now has got some challenges. It especially has challenges when you consider what's going to happen next year. Next year, that now that there is a community of scalpers, I assume that that's their job, that now know that this is an event that sells out and has a higher value. What the higher value is hard to say. Since the announcement of selling out yesterday, there's been kind of this, it's almost like a stock market insanity. People are like, oh no, scarcity, buy, and so which drives the price up, and there's these eBay auctions, and it's insane. Now, how many of the eBay auctions are real? I don't know. A lot of the eBay auctions are people who are intentionally driving up the prices to screw the people selling them, because they have no intention of spending $10,000 on the tickets, but they put, by driving it up, that means they won't be able to sell it, and whatever. So, I'm getting asked many times an hour if I have extra tickets, where I could get tickets, etc. There's a number of actually big-name DJs, as well as large art projects that I've heard saying, oh, we, our organization, if we're going to go, we need 7 tickets, I saw someone post. Whoa! That's a lot of planning and fundraising to then go, oh, wait, we didn't take care of our tickets. Ouch. Now, there's a couple areas in here that I wanted to touch on. One is that this scenario of selling out creates a shift in the Burning Man community. It creates a shift in the narrative. It creates a shift in the whole mentality of it. Now, what that shift means is totally unknown. I'm going to read something that I saw someone post as a response to, oh my gosh, I don't have tickets, I need to get some tickets. And so someone posted, let's see, I'll just read it. They said, this year Burning Man has sold out. in quotes. It's gone from a social movement with seemingly infinite transformative power to an alternative tourist attraction regulated by the government. For me, this year marks Burning Man's metamorphosis from one of the great social experiments of our time into a government-regulated commercial circus, complete with tour packages for those who want to see the circus freaks. Yikes! You know, it kind of goes back to me, to Crapper Cone. Now, does this situation create additional challenges, potential ugliness, potential opportunities for manipulation, or opportunities for all sorts of ickiness? Totally! Absolutely! But that is, to me, just so unburner to see an obstacle and go, oh, it's disaster! Run! Leave! Screw! It's like, the whole point, I mean, the magic part of Burning Man is that if something is broken, you fix it. And the mentality of trying to see yourself as a participant doesn't change in this scenario. Now, the scenario, the dynamic shift, does mean that there are going to be people there, as there always are, maybe even more than in the past, that miss the point, that buy a ticket, especially a scalp ticket. Maybe they take a tour. Maybe they, have a plush RV or whatever the situation is that people judge and say that's not the right headspace to be in for this transformative participant experience. But it's a city. No one ever said that Burning Man is 100% rainbows and sunshine all the time. In fact, that's what it's exactly not. It's not a vacation, it's an adventure. And there's windstorms, and there's assholes. And there is blazing heat, and there is people who take more than they give. But if you look at the spectrum, it's weighed so heavily on amazing stuff. Just as everything in life, it comes down to Crapper Cone. There is stuff about Burning Man that sucks. There is stuff that gets challenged as it grows. I mean, look at the Founding Fathers and the Constitution and what I would argue is the intention of our government. And then look what happens when it grows to millions and millions and millions of people. It gets distorted. Now, is there beauty in there? Is it worth fighting for? Yes. Look what happens with a religion. It starts off with all incredible intentions, and it does its best to try to hold on to those, and it grows, it gets distorted. Burning Man, as it grows, it gets distorted. There was a time when I would argue that because some evil was done in the name of Jesus, that Christianity is a sham. But since then, I've met lots of people who, based on the guiding principles of Jesus, based on their relationship with God, they're amazing people. They are such gifts to the world. So, I now know that Christianity has amazing things in it, and some corruption, and some ickiness. The United States has some amazing things in it, and some ickiness. Burning Man has some amazing things in it, and some ickiness. The degree in which the ickiness and the amazingness ratio breaks down is determined by us. Burning Man is still at a size, even capped, even whatever, 60,000, I don't know what they capped it at, 52. That is still a small enough size that we have an incredible influence over what this experience is. I guarantee, no matter, even if it's, I guarantee there are going to be crowds of people who are going to be transformed, who are going to be lit up, who are going to just have their lives changed. There are going to be crowds of people who shift in their relationship to who they are in the world. There are going to be crowds of people who start to see themselves as artists who never did before. There are going to be crowds of people who start to shift their measuring stick from one of acquisition to one of giving, just from their experiences on the playa. And with the city of 50,000, where the energy and the momentum and the vibration is so strong towards interconnection, towards the principles of Burning Man, It's a responsibility of the people that go to spread and adhere to and educate and live according to the ideals that made it so powerful to them. As the ratio of newbies to old-timers gets altered, that experience, that challenge of educating and steering is harder. But to say, ew, it's over, throw up your hands and go, well, it was once something cool, it's just such a... It's like, if you had a kid and then, after school one day they were smoking a cigarette, you go, oh, we're getting rid of the kid. No. You figure out, okay, massive change in the landscape, massive change in the influences on this kid. So what do we do now? How do we take all the wonderful things, how do we take all the amazing things about this entity that we love and foster those? How do we shine the light? How do we put on a stage? How do we spread the word about the things that changed us? And I think that's by living it by an example, by walking the walk. It's not like you're saying, oh, we have to now build a second city to try to show people how it's done. No, Burning Man it's this thing, it's this living thing that we all make happen. All we need to do is not get caught up in the alarmism, remember what's important, continue to walk in our truth, spread our truth, and be supportive of one another. Now, back to tickets. There are going to be people that want to go that can't go. In the past, that category of people that want to go that can't go have been people that didn't have the financial resources. Now, that includes people that didn't have the financial resources and those that didn't plan well or get lucky as the burn approaches. Tons of people that don't have tickets right now will get tickets before the burn. So I would highly, strongly, passionately implore you to, if you want to go to Burning Man, keep picturing yourself going to Burning Man. What I would not do is keep posting all over the place. I'm looking for a ticket, especially not this week. Because we're having this crazed, Wall Street market crash of insanity. But as people start to make their plans, as people start to realize that it's not going to work out for them, make sure your friends know you're looking. Make sure your campmates. Make sure, and occasionally check the boards. Check Craigslist, ePlaya, and the Facebook page. Don't post, I'm looking for tickets. Look for people that have them. You can look for tickets if you want, but don't post that on places that people are going to have to, when you see a ton of people saying, I'm looking for tickets, try not to turn every social media experience into a classified ad. Now, that being said, did I mention I was going to give away tickets? All right, that was a lie. I do not have any tickets to give away. I simply have my faith that if you're meant to be there this year, you will be there. And if for some reason between the next 5 weeks, if no opportunities for you to get a ticket happen in those next 5 weeks, then perhaps there is a reason for you to spend that energy, time, money on something that's far more important to you and the planet. I hope I see you at Burning Man. I hope all things are delivered to your door as you want them to. But remember, just as everything on the playa, what you want to have happen is often very different than what is supposed to happen. I will see you there if I see you there.